Ugh, crap. The Uncharted movie trailer is here. Okay, now that I got the catchphrase out of the way, let's talk about the actual trailer and my thoughts about it. I'll try and keep this brief since I want to save my full thoughts for the movie itself, but I still need to talk about this. First thing you need to know about me is that I'm a big Uncharted fan. I was a fan ever since the first game came out and it blew me away with its impressive presentation and gameplay shifts. I was even more blown away by the second game and its incredible set pieces. The third game may have had a weaker story, but it made up for it with some beautiful landscapes and unforgettable moments. The third game wasn't only a fantastic ending, but also had some of the most emotional moments in the series. And we also have The Lost Legacy, which was just as fun in its own way. As you could probably tell, I own each game in the series, except Golden Abyss due to the lack of Vita. I played each one from beginning to end at least 3 times. This is a franchise I hold very dear to my heart, as it provided me with many fun memories, unforgettable action, a fantastic cast of characters, incredible and charming dialogue, some legit emotional moments, and I even teared up when the franchise turned 10 and they had that PlayStation Experience panel with the cast. Like, come on, how many games do that? But okay, the point is clear. I clearly love Uncharted. So where do I stand with the movie now that we have an official trailer? Well, here's where the problems start. First of all, the idea of an Uncharted movie isn't a bad one, considering the games are very much cinematic, and seeing them being adapted on the big screen is actually pretty appealing. I'd even say that the trailer itself made it feel like Uncharted. It has the tone nailed, the humor is in the same vibes, characters seem to be written like they would have been in the games, and the action matches what you'd be able to play on your PlayStation console of choice. Nate jumping and hanging from the lamps in the club fight scene feels like something you'd be able to do in the games. And of course we have the plane scene taken directly from Uncharted 3, with some winks to the third game here and there. Yeah, it may look like a traditional action-adventure movie, but that's what the games were too. When you really get down to it, the games never really broke new grounds in terms of reinventing the treasure hunt wheel. What made the adventure work so well were the wonderful characters and the fun action sequences, which could have rivaled movies. So yeah, who cares if it will be your standard adventure flick, if we get the same great characters and awesome action. Based on the trailer, this seems to be what we're getting, so I'd at least say they seem to get what made the games such a hit and are trying to incorporate it in the movie. It could also not work, we won't know for sure until we actually see the movie, but you know what? Massive credit for actually trying to get what made the source material work, instead of just plastering a name on the poster in order to attract fans. But okay, the casting. Let's get this out of the way now, since I know that's what you wanted to hear me talk about if you clicked on this video. Tom Holland, I love him as Spider-Man, I love him in some other movies, but I don't think he's the best choice for Nathan Drake. Don't get me wrong, the guy definitely has the physicality for it, and he'd shown he has a very similar sense of humor to Nathan Drake, but I don't get it from his baby face. Like, I look at this picture of him, and it looks really cool and everything, but I see Tom Holland wearing a slick Nathan Drake cosplay, instead of Nathan Drake himself. Mark Wahlberg as Sully though? No. Yeah, I don't hate Marky Mark by any means, but I just don't think he fits this character. Sully is this old adventurer who's been through plenty of stuff over the years, and he's always cracking jokes about how he's too old for this shit. The main reason he's getting into these adventures, caring for Nate aside, is the money. Does Wahlberg look like anything of what I just described to you? You could call him Victor, but he sure as hell ain't a goddamn Sullivan. Sophia Ali looks like a decent Chloe though, even if she looks too old to be Nate's love interest despite the actors being the same age. And casting Antonio Banderas as the villain is actually a fun idea, but that's where we get to the other things that worry me in this movie. So to those who don't know, the movie acts as if it's Nathan's first adventure, which isn't a bad idea actually. In fact, Tom Holland does look like Nate's teenage self from Uncharted 3, so this could have worked if it wasn't for the fact that Nate is supposed to be an adult in this film. His age may not be stated, but I'm pretty sure they won't allow a teenager to work as a bartender. So this guy needs to be at least 21. This leads us to Nate and Sully meeting while Nate is bartending, which contradicts the games, and it seems that Chloe and Sully are already aware of each other, despite not meeting until Uncharted 2. Now, I understand. Adaptations are going to have changes in them. I wouldn't mind that, if the trailer didn't make me think of the games by taking literal set pieces from them. Nate and Chloe exploring the caves reminds me of the El Dorado explorations, just replace Elena with Chloe. Nate in the boat finding the pirate ship and the nightclub fight are clearly inspired by Uncharted 4, and then we have the plane scene which is taken directly from Uncharted 3. This movie needs to decide what it wants to do. Does it want to take its own direction with the source material? By all means. Does it want to stay as loyal to the source material by taking literal scenes from it? By all means. Doing them both together? Now I feel this movie is going to present me a salad with too many things in it, which would cause it to suffer an identity crisis. You can do a loose adaptation. You can do a direct adaptation. Trying to do both in the same movie? Now that's a very thin line to walk on. Not saying this couldn't work, but I'm getting this feeling that one half of this production really wants to put their love and passion for Uncharted on the big screen, while the other half just needed an action movie to fit the slate and chose the IP they had. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to watch this movie when it comes out because I want to be fair with it, but my general thoughts as of now are all over the place as I described. Luckily, February 22nd isn't too far away, and we will soon find out if this movie will be a treasure worth checking out, or if we'd better leave this one uncharted.